Hi, I'm Dr. Richard Visser. I spent my whole life in the pursuit of health, well-being, and longevity. In this podcast, I will take you on a journey through the wilderness of scientific research and experiential knowledge. Together, we will clear a path towards optimal health, well-being, and longevity. I'm a former Minister of Health and Sports with a PhD in medical sciences, published researcher in the fields of childhood obesity and lifestyle medicine. In these roles, I implemented policy and personal solutions and monitored outcomes for over a decade. I was fortunate enough to work with 21 countries and successfully put the Aruba call to action on the agenda of PAHO and the World Health Organization in 2011. I started my career as a doctor of chiropractic focused on mind-body medicine, nutrition, and sports medicine. Today, I develop digital platforms to inform and educate by bringing science-based solutions to as many people as possible. I'm excited to share my knowledge, know-how, my methods with you. So please join me on the Visser podcast. Welcome to the Visser podcast. This is episode 2, and it's the first encounter of the gut biome. But before that, let's do a little recap. For the people that are new, first timers, we spoke about the microbiome, the gut microbiome specifically. Our body has 100 trillions of these cells, and these cells are fungi, bacteria, viruses, just regular cells. And they live within us, on top of us, in our skin. So why is this so important? Well, specifically the GI microbes, the role they play. They play a huge role in digestion, absorption of nutrients, development of healthy immune system, production of essential vitamins, minerals, integrity and permeability of the intestinal epithelial cells, so the intestinal walls all the way through. The gut microbiome has a strong connection, and it's a bidirectional connection with the lungs and brains, distant organs. And we'll talk a bit about that. But before that, we have to understand also that the gut microbiome is different in different areas. So you have different microbiomes in different areas. And also, it's also different for us as humans, where we come from. So geography plays a role. Where you were born, where you grew up, what you ate, all this. So we all have a unique micro gut biome. And so this makes it more difficult for researchers because we're all unique. So you can't have one size fits all. But we'll go on what we know, and we're just touching the tip of the iceberg. So when we look at the connection with the brain, we're looking at the connection to diseases like autism, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease. And this is called the gut-brain axis, GBA. Huge research is going into this area. If we look at the short-chain fatty acids that get synthesized, so butyrate, for instance, influence of memory, synaptic plasticity, release of neurotransmitters, production and recruitment of T cells, neutrophils, and inflammatory cytokinins. This is huge for our immune system. This is the basis of our immune system. And this is all facilitated by the microbiome. If we look at propionate, blood-brain barrier, against the oxidative stress, it protects our blood-brain barrier. We look at tyrosine metabolism, the gut biome influence on the lungs, resistance against asthma, allergies, and airway inflammations. These are connections that we've discovered already, and there's many more to be discovered. So the gut biome will be a topic that we'll be revisiting in everything we do in exercise, nutrition, you name it. But today specifically, we'll be talking about our first encounter with the gut microbiome. When's that? Well, that's when we are born. When we are in the placenta, we are in a very sterile environment. But as soon as we exit through the vaginal canal, specifically the vaginal canal, we are covered by vaginal fluids. This diversifies our microbiome. It populates us with the microbiome that we need, and it's an immense process. So right away, I can see questions in, well, I've had C-sections, or what happens if I have to have a C-section? Well, there's quite a bit of research done on C-section babies. We've seen that there's a complete different microbiome. The microbiome that children have or babies have after a C-section is equivalent to the skin of the mother, to the hospital environment. So it's not optimal at all. And so this also causes a lot of problems for the babies. After birth, their immune system, sicknesses they can have, infections they can get, you name it. And there's a whole list of that. So what happens with the C-section is that we're in a problem zone. So how do we resolve this? Well, the two ways that we know how to resolve it is to do a vaginal wall swap, where we transplant those fluids onto the baby, or do a fecal matter transplant from the mother to the baby. Both procedures are very simple. Right now they're developing ways to do it, a little less primordial, I guess. But this works, and it's shown to work. And the fecal transfer, I think, works better than the vaginal transfer even. So talk to your doctor about it. If you're going for a C-section, prep this. When we, and I'm gonna back up a little bit because we kind of dove into it. But when you're pregnant, key areas that research has targeted is mother's weight before pregnancy. So if you're thinking of getting pregnant, make sure you're at your optimum weight. Secondly, that you're exercising, your nutrition is good. Everything that goes in your body, everything you do gets transferred to the baby. Then your weight gain should be monitored. It shouldn't be too much, shouldn't be too little. You should be just right on target. This could also have problems in the future. So these are areas that you can avoid, carrying on to the baby and giving him problems that he has to deal with for the rest of their lives. So right here, these are major steps that you can take to provide a better start and better health throughout the life of the baby. And so, the other thing I say, get a doula, get a coach if it's your first time, to really go through everything so you know what's coming, so you know what to expect, so you have a better chance to do vaginal delivery. And if you're gonna do C-section, or it happens to be, make sure you have a plan in place with your physician on, the microbiome transfer from either the fecal microbiome transplant or vaginal. So make sure that's it. And you're giving birth now. Painful, amazing, euphoric process. But in your plan, you should also have the extraction of blood from the navel, so umbilical blood. Why? This could be stored in banks under heavy cooling for stem cells in the future. And this is key for your baby and the other siblings, that they can have their own bank of stem cells for anything, where anything should happen, or anything they would like to do in the future. Science is using more and more of these stem cells, and these are the most powerful stem cells. So it's an easy process. It's an easy thing they could do when you give birth. It's just take some cord blood and get it ready for storage. So it's an easy thing, and you'll benefit from it. Trust me. It's one of the things you definitely need to do. The other thing is, don't rush this whole thing. Don't cut the umbilical cord, go clean the baby. No, have the baby come on your chest, lay there with the umbilicus uncut. Let them look at when the umbilicus stops kind of, pulsating. Then slowly they can cut it. Give the baby time. Okay, let the microbes really be there before they go wash and clean everything. Take your time. Put this in your plan that you would like to do this. It's a less, it's much less traumatic experience for mom and the baby. Let it be this peaceful, beautiful, transition that you can actually start slowing down a tiny bit. So right after, I think the biggest decision you can do is to breastfeed. Breastfeed is key in microbiome development for the baby. We're seeing breastfeeding exclusively for 6 months is indicative of the baby's weight for the rest of their life. Really be careful in how you start solids with the baby. Forget fruit juices, please. No fruit juices till later. It's all sugar you're putting in there. Be very careful with sugar. So these are some of the tips that are key, and there's a few. It's not everything, but I think it's some of the stuff that we tend to forget to add, and that is really important. And there's simple things to do. Okay, breastfeeding isn't that simple. You really need a breastfeeding coach. Because you're going to have cracked nipples, you're going to have stoppages, you're going to have swellings, what to do when this happens, how to control the volume of breast milk coming out, increase, lower the volume. All this you can do if you know how to do it. And pumping, etc., so that you can breastfeed your baby as long as possible. Now, the most optimum is exclusively for 6 months. If you can't make that, make it as far as you can. It is critical for their well-being. So really, this is where it's at. So we come back to breast milk. It's perfected millions of years of evolution. Mammalian breast milk contains the exact nutrients a baby needs and the right bacteria. Breast milk doesn't feed just the baby. It also feeds the baby's microbiome. These bacteria and others that feed on breast milk jumpstarts the baby's immune system and digestive system, help prevent infection, and even affect brain development. The early microbiome trains the body's immune system to attack potentially dangerous microbes, but leave benign ones alone. Again, the goal here, 6 months exclusive breastfeeding, get coaching, and this so you know what to expect, what to do with everything that happens in between. The more you know, the more you're going to be able to do it. And so this episode, I focused a bit on the gut biome in the sense our first encounter with the gut biome is when we're born, and how important this is, how extremely important this is. And it's something that before recently, we thought C-sections, fine, plan your C-section, in the big cities. We don't have time to, wait for the birth. We want to pick and choose what day the baby's born, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we're going to have to think that one again. And really, it's showing us to go back to basics. Thank you for joining me. If you like the content, and we're going to have much more, subscribe, link the description below. You can see all the research we have. Ring the notification bell. And until the next episode, another very interesting one, the next level. Thank you for joining.